What's up, y'all? It's your boy Dumptruck here, and this is another episode of Chasing the Ride podcast, brought to you by Rider Justice. I am joined by Mr. Rider Justice Scott O'Sullivan, and today we have got some family members here with us.
Yeah, very
We've got Miss Rachel Baldwin, and then we've got Mr. Cody Kiebler of Kiebler Kustoms. And easily, we're all some of each other's favorite people.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
you've brought us all together, so
Yes.
I want to speak for everybody and say thanks for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is all part of why Rider Justice exists, right? Is community, family, and I think what's hilarious is, like, I'm not sure I know two other people that know more freaking people in the whole world. And also just, like, you walk anywhere and they're like, I want to do a picture with you! And it's just awesome. You know, it's the same for you, too. And
I like hugs. And just so you guys know, the reason that we're all together here for him is we are also ambassadors for Rider Justice. So this is definitely our family episode.
Yeah, and I really appreciate it. But what I would love, and, you know, we can talk about this in a second, but it's like, tell us, you know, Cody, how you got here and how you're in the motorcycle world. We'll do the same thing with you and Rachel in a minute.
What I want to know is, like, when you started baking cookies in a tree, did you not consider the fire hazards that were a part of that venture?
No, when we first went into that, we did not. And
That must have been a hard realization.
ultimately, you wouldn't believe it, but underwriting allows us to make motorcycles, but not cookies anymore.
And here we are. That's how you got into
And
motorcycles.
that's the story.
By the way, do you have any cookies?
I do.
Okay, that's good.
Keep them on my wife's purse.
Really? So where does your life in motorcycles start, and how did it lead to Kiebler?
You know, my life in motorcycles started at 3, ultimately, when I got my first motorcycle and a passion for motorcycles. It's just been in my blood forever. I grew up a mechanic, became an aircraft mechanic, and started working in that industry and realized that my passion was with motorcycles. And so getting into doing motorcycles before it was a business, and doing it, I've always said, if you want to do something for a business, pick something you'll do for free any day of the week. Because you love doing it, you give it away for a little while, and ultimately, eventually, a business comes out of these passions that we love.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of service that people need in this business. So providing that service for them then gets them riding again. That's a big deal for us because we love to ride with people, which means ultimately our friends' bikes need to run. And
That is helpful.
Yes, it's helpful.
So just through that passion, business started to take off. Witnessing some of the other businesses and some of the other cool companies out there that I watch them grow and become masters of this art. I try and shape a little bit of my business after them and make things that sort of I can show people and put on bikes for shows and stay in this community.
So when you say make things, let people know what that means.
Yeah.
Because like you're a fabricator, but you're also a digital designer, right?
Right. So I take things through the prototyping process like I used to do in aerospace, and it starts with an idea and a proof of concept, and we'll prove that something's not a dumb idea decently quick. And then after that, it's engineering a part so it can be mass produced in CAD. I like to 3D print parts because, man, I can 3D print for a couple bucks, try something out on the bike. If it needs a small change, I can change it and 3D print another one for a couple bucks. It used to be like a few $1,000 turnover every revolution.
And time.
Right? Months, and all of a sudden it took years to come out with one thing. So I've worked to try to more perfect that prototyping process and get it down to less steps with knowledge, but then get those steps cheaper through equipment and 3D printers, stuff like that, and then ultimately get to good parts, is what I like to call them, that fit, that work, that are what we want, that you can then say, hey, make thousands of those, that part's worth it, right? We're not wasting our time anymore.
What's your favorite thing that you've 3D printed? It doesn't have to be motorcycle related. Like, what's the thing that brought you the most joy out of a 3D printer? Because you can print anything off this.
This is a weird one because it isn't motorcycle anything. I really like printing things that can't be manufactured. So anything that is an assembly printed that's linked inside of each other, things that couldn't be pressed, single working ball bearings. My favorite thing that brings me the most joy are these little octopus that I make for my daughter, and they've got all these little tentacles and they're real wiggly. It's cool because it's something that can't be made on a mill. You can only make them 3D printers, and my daughter loves them. Ultimately, my little 5-year-old, and that brings me a lot of joy.
That's adorable.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's adorable. All right, Rachel, you're in the hot seat.
Okay.
Telling you what, we're doing it live.
Okay.
So you're easily one of America's favorite riding darlings. You absolutely are. You're a wonderful woman. You have such a great outlook on life, and you leave positivity everywhere you go.
Okay.
And you also ride more than most people, I would say. So when did you start riding, and how did that lead to your lust for distance?
Yes.
So I started in 2014. I think that's when I took my basic rider course, and I just went a little further and further every year. When I got done with my basic rider course, I got into motorcycle ministry through the Christian Motorcyclist Association. I had a Yamaha V-Star 1100. Started riding that around Missouri a little bit, and then I moved up to the Softail Slim a few years later after an accident, not caused by me, and then now I've got a Road King. And so I love destination riding. I love motorcycle ministry, which is kind of how I ran into Cody. Just bike nights, I love being there. I love doing bike blessings. And so we talked a lot about that and how we can serve the community. And then that led to other, influencers like you, through Sabine, through Amy. I was able to connect with Rider Justice and Cherie, and there was a need here, so here I am. I love traveling the U.S. I will go anywhere for like a donut or a hot dog.
That's one of the things that changes.
thousands of miles.
A patch, a pin, whatever.
When you start riding distance, lunch, meet me for lunch.
Yeah,
That means something totally different.
Yeah.
That means I'll see you in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Because that's where lunch is at.
Right.
And it's really rad. So you do a lot of distance riding. You do go far. You do it with a smile on your face. Tell me about your longest trip.
Longest trip?
Yeah, longest stint away from home. It doesn't have to be those miles necessarily.
Okay, well, there's a couple that come to mind. Last year I did a trip to the Keys with a couple of my buddies. We planned it over the winter time. That was almost 8,000 miles round trip. We were gone for 2 weeks. It took us down the coast. We went on the 10, through Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, all that stuff. Down to the Keys, and then we came up the coast and then back over to, Illinois, Wisconsin. We took the ferry across the lake there and then came back home. So that was a really fun trip. And then
Is there a goal to that trip, or is it like, hey, I want to go get lunch?
There was a couple of things.
I hear the crab cakes are great in Key Largo.
Yeah, right. Conch critters. Okay. Well, we wanted some fresh seafood, but we also wanted to do this trip, going to the Keys, knocking that off our list.
Yeah.
A couple of the other guys had, things that they wanted to knock off in terms of states. And then Tom, who organized the trip, he had certain family members he wanted to see. So, when he'd stop and go see family, we'd go fart around or whatever. But we just wanted to make sure we cleared that off of our
That's really
list.
cool. Everybody had their own reason, but the reason was Florida.
Yep.
But that's really unique. And what was the other trip you were going to start talking about?
I did a Canada trip over to Banff and Jasper with a few ladies, so that was pretty cool. We did that in about 11 days, left out of Colorado and went straight north and came back. So beautiful, beautiful countryside. I love the Canadian Rockies. I think you could see them clearer. They're closer to the street there, and stunning.
Now, that was an all-women's trip?
Yeah, it was a women's trip, 4 ladies, yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How many wildlife encounters did you have on that trip?
Oh,
'Cause they were
tons.
everywhere.
Oh, tons. As soon as I got into the national park, Banff National Park, Jasper area, bears everywhere. They were crossing the street. Really, really cool experience, and that was on my Yamaha V-Star at the time. They were so close to the side, the median. They're just eating the berries, and that was really cool. So I have some video footage of that. And they just walked right past my bike. Some of the tourists were a little annoying. They'd let their kids kind of shriek really loud, and then that was like a little frustrating as it's walking past my motorcycle, and I don't have anything to protect me if it gets, spooked. So Otherwise, it was
great.
good. Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't pet the fluffy cows, right? Yeah.
Those are words.
That's going to be
live
the
by.
name of this episode.
Yeah.
Words to not die by.
Yeah.
Don't pet the fluffy cows. Brought to you by Hot Wheels.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it was a good time. Saw lots of bighorn sheep as well, Hot Springs, Lake Louise, and that's definitely a trip I'll never forget.
Do you do a lot of all women's rides?
I
know you ride with everybody.
Yeah, some weekend trips. A lot of the ladies in my life are pretty independent in terms of those long distance trips. We will start out like riding by ourselves, and then we meet up with the big group wherever that final destination is. So yeah.
That's right. How often does this get to happen for you?
A lot.
I know it does.
I save up all of my vacation in the winter time, and I go from spring, summer, fall. I'm in healthcare, and I've got a supervisor that his schedule is pretty much opposite. He likes to go hunting in the winter, so I take all of that, nice weather and go ride.
I think the first time I heard that you had a day job, I was shocked.
But how?
It just shocked me because I was like, wait a minute. I know how much you ride.
I do work. I work really hard, and I've been at the hospital here for about 9 years in northern Colorado.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you do
Yeah,
there?
I'm a manager. We manage pulmonary and sleep, critical care. So if you're ever critically injured, we treat those patients in the acute setting. And then if you've got sleep diagnoses, anybody need a CPAP, I can hook you up, okay? And obviously asthma, lung diagnoses like that.
Now, is there any connection between your professional and motorcycle life?
The only connection is when I get my friends into my clinic.
Yeah.
That's about it. So yeah.
Well, that's terrible.
I do have a story actually. So the way that I got on with my healthcare job was through motorcycles. I met a daughter. She was already a medical assistant for cardiology, and I had met her mom through some sort of ministry event. She's like, yeah, you should meet my daughter. She just got into motorcycles. It's her birthday coming up. I'm going to invite you to my daughter's surprise birthday. I didn't even know her daughter. Her daughter didn't even know me, but I showed up because I'm wanting to meet up with other lady riders, and it was just, love at first sight. And she talked to me about what the needs were at the time for Banner Health, and I was able to apply, and there we go. 9 years later, here I am.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So when we were talking to you a second ago, you were talking about how you like to organize rides and this and that. And that's really kind of what you're known for, I think, not only being a source of knowledge to people out here in the Denver area, because you've got vintage knowledge, you got modern knowledge and all that, and you're not afraid to share it.
Right.
But it's the community part. You love a good party.
Yep.
Been a part of quite a few.
Right.
But I know it's not just the party. It is absolutely you investing back in the community. I know you're passionate with the education side of that.
Yep.
Are you working on a way to share some of that knowledge with your community?
I am. We're in the beginning stages of the biggest thing that I think we've gotten traction with is welding. People really want to get their hands on some welding advice, and I have quite a few welders. I love to teach people to weld because it's like riding a bike. You get them this skill, they can do it for life. You can also do it on your own choppers. You can do it for fun. You can do it for work. I really believe if you want to go to work as a welder, come to my shop, weld for a few weeks with me, get a hand at it, go take a job as a welder. It's not go to college for 6 months and spend $40,000, $50,000. There are welders needed out there, and there are people who seem to want to weld a lot these days. I think we lost a lot of welders in watching everybody weld on Discovery Channel.
We see that a lot at Sawicki Speed. The one thing that we are never stopping the hiring process on are more welders. And there's a certain level of welder that we need because our product exposes the work.
Right.
But I mean, on point, absolutely. There's a huge vacuum for the trades in general, and welding is massive.
Is one of them. I would like to teach the processes of prototyping. I would like to teach the processes of metalwork. The things that get us to where we can build the choppers so we can take our inner artist, and let it out on something fun we can ride with. I'm working on some welding classes. We still do the bike night stuff. Right now I'm back. I've done a full circle. I went from my house shop into multiple commercial shops, and I am now back in my house shop. So I've made one perfect circle, and am still doing bike nights there, a little bit smaller and a little more private. I can't have, 100 people at my house. But hopefully this spring, we're hoping to get back into another commercial spot where I can have more of these classes on a more public level. But if people do want to contact me and get signed up to come practice welding, I love teaching people to weld. I love getting them a hand at it and then letting them go and play on their own. I let people touch my equipment. Ultimately, my equipment does get abused over time, but that one little downside of it that everybody sort of complains about, letting other people touch your tools, there is more power in and more love in getting people these skills than you lost in the scratches on your tools, right?
Yeah.
And you get to change people's lives. I've had people come back to me years down the road and say, I didn't think it was much at the time, but I now use this for a living, or I now use this for my passion. And that that hits me in the heart. I love that feeling. Motorcycle community, to me, is all of us that enjoy riding. And when I was growing up in the 90s, I'm a Gen Xer, I watched the motorcycle community kind of say F you to the guys that didn't ride Harleys, right? And builders say F you to all other builders that weren't on their build. And I wanted to be a part of getting people back together. Let's build again. It doesn't matter what you want to ride. It doesn't matter, even if you don't have a bike, but you're interested in bikes. At some point, we all wanted a bike that we didn't have. Yeah. So why cut those people out?
Right.
They have the same passion. I want to include them. I want them to be able to learn and have fun. This community is awesome, but it is a little fractured from what happened in the 90s. And I think if we all work together to support each other, it can be upside down from what it was in the 90s, and we can absolutely love this together.
That's awesome. I love that. And everything you do leads to a ride. And you also do a bunch of riding. I went to 33 events last year for work. I saw you at like half of them.
Right. We try to get to as many as we can. If I could pick the lifestyle for our business, it would be making the parts, putting them on the bikes, taking them to the shows, and in all of that, you're surrounded by the building community, the riding community, the show community, and really, like you said, it's a lot of the same people. It is a national community, but you see your friends at these shows. You don't go to shows in another state and not see your friends because
it's a carnival.
It is a carnival.
Yeah, we are motorcycle carnies. There's no getting around it. It's a family reunion about every 3 weeks when we're at another state and another event.
It is awesome.
And we get to hit it right off again for like 10 straight days.
Right.
See you in a few weeks.
Right, and go ride Laconia or go ride Four Corners.
Yeah.
It's like there are so many amazing places to ride, so much fun stuff to do. We'll never see it all. We'll try.
Definitely try.
That's awesome.
Well, with the adjustment and stuff that you've had, getting back to the home shop, I've got quite a few friends right now that have done the exact same thing. And almost all of them with a certain amount of success in the larger shop. But then they realize, and it's not for me, because it's not for everyone.
Right.
Some people thrive in that. Some people go, I want to be more connected to it.
Right.
So they've gotten rid of the employees, got rid of the paint booths and this, that, and the other, and gone right back to the homestead and starting to create a shop out of there. What are the advantages you see to that?
It allows you, so you take that full circle and you get a taste for
the big
things,
picture.
The things you thought that were one way or the things that you thought might not be. You really get a feel for what it is. And now I think I see a lot of those guys come back to their shops as much better builders. They focus in on the things that worked, the things they enjoyed. They sort of dump the junk off. A lot of us, of course, enjoy the lower overhead for a little while of being back in a smaller shop, but still having the same knowledge that we had in the bigger shop. I would probably stay in a garage shop if I didn't want to have community events.
Right.
I really want community events. I love when people can show up, talk shop with us, meet us, get ideas, maybe even learn a new skill, and then we can all meet up and go on a ride together.
Yeah.
That completes the package to me. So I need a small shop. But as I was on the path of getting bigger and bigger and bigger, I always thought bigger was better. In our industry, there's a community feel and a level that I feel like I just broke past, where you're small enough to know the people you're working with, and to have good community with them. And at a certain point, it becomes more about dollars and spreadsheets. And right at that line is a line I don't ever really desire to go on the other side of. I learned that, the community, the people, the building is where my passion's at. It's where my love is for this. Everything after that,
kind of like the motorcycles are the catalyst.
Right.
It's really not the point. It's the people.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I can't disagree with you. And a lot of people say it, in other podcasts and things like that. Like the motorcycles are rad, but the people are why you're actually getting together. Right. And there's lots of shows where I straight up, don't be mad. I don't look at the motorcycles at all.
Yeah.
They're there. That's how we got here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know where mine's at for now.
We'll ride them in a bit.
But it really is. It's all about the folks you see. It's all about just the joy that we bring to each other from going, hey, you rode your piece of shit here, and I rode my piece of shit here.
Let's drink to that.
We made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all still alive.
Let's go set our hair on fire for fun.
Yeah, or your bike.
Yeah. That happens.
Hey.
Yep.
That happens. But
It'll buff out.
It's just, it's rad that way. It is the people, and to know that you're so passionate, not just about being a part of the community, but being a driving force in it and creating a space for it. Do you have ideas of space that would be good for something like that?
I learned through the Broadway shop that when they say location, 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 they mean it, and there is something to that. That brought a lot of customers that would have never known who I was without ever flying a flag or anything else or putting up smoke signals. So that was really nice to have. I would like to be on some sort of public street where people can directly drive by and look and see what we're doing. Because news in the community spreads faster than lightning, right? But I also remember, my first shop in a garage town. The first time I got out of my house was tucked in the back of a little garage town we used to call prison. Because it was like a little prison yard, and nobody.
I was like, is this a metaphor?
No, it was like a little prison yard. There were no signs for our business. We had to tell people, and there were hundreds of garages, and they had to get to our little garage to do business with us.
Yeah.
That still worked, right? And it was still a spot that people could show up. So I'm really just open to sort of God's plans in this whole thing for me. I'm here to walk every day and do what I can in front of me. To support people and to do service and fabrication work and build parts. Through that, I find that opportunities come knocking at the right time.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And so while I would like to say, I'd love to be here, I ultimately know that opportunities come along and they can sort of change the game for you. And so I'm open to that, my ears to the ground right now. Working in the shop, just keeping customer base, doing the same thing, making sure everybody's taken care of. And then I feel like this year is going to be a great year for the motorcycle industry as a whole. And I'm thankful to get to be a part of it. So,
What do you think is going to happen in the motorcycle industry right now? We're talking about, it's going to be a great year for it. We've seen a lot of change, a lot of diversity in riding and motorcycles at events. What are you looking forward to in 24?
I'm looking forward to more ladies getting out there, getting after it. I think a lot of it is confidence, education. I appreciate what Scott and the O'Sullivan Law Firm is doing for our community, teaching us about what it means to ride safe. Motorcycling is not a crime, and making sure we're educated about our insurance benefits. What full coverage really means. And just inspiring ladies to get out there, showing they want to see it, they want to see other lady riders.
That sounds good. Exactly.
Back out there for a minute.
all of the people.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good.
And we're back.
But ladies can do that kind of thing too. They can get into custom builds, and they're fabricating. They're learning how to build their own motorcycles. They're going further, doing more distance. And I think we're just going to continue to see that and see that segment grow. So I'm happy to be a pioneer for that and just be an inspiration for anybody, I don't know. There we go.
I think that's awesome. And
one of the things that I think is important is we started with it with community, and community keeps coming up over and over, and then opportunities and doors that open, and have to be open to that. Right, and seeing that, and one of the things that you and I was like, hey, I want to do this thing for Colorado, and we're in a motorcycle show right now, but we wanted to kind of create our own.
How can you tell?
For next year. Yeah, how can you tell? I just heard something. And what we wanted to do is kind of create this thing you were talking about.
Yep.
Helping the next generation.
Yep.
Right? Gen Xers get a bad name for a lot of things,
Sure.
or we're kind of ignored.
Yep.
Sure.
But we're running the deal now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To start, right?
Right.
And so how do we make it so that we can create that next generation that is out and enjoying and loving this
really
community?
about sharing.
Yeah.
Sharing.
And that's been a hard
so
way.
important.
One of the
Yeah.
hardest things is to get the information. Like, and we hear it all the time. You'll have some crotchety old person whining about how young kids don't know how to do nothing.
Exactly.
They're the same ones that aren't sharing.
Yeah, not opening their shop to
Right.
somebody like you were talking about with welding. I mean,
Right.
that's amazing opportunity. Please take advantage of it.
Yeah,
out there.
absolutely.
Please.
That's a life skill.
Yeah, and it's huge. And you being out riding everywhere and just being this shining beacon wherever you go, right, is amazing.
Yeah.
And it just opens doors to so many different people too. And seeing people that like, oh, I could be her, right? Out there. I think it's really important.
And I think so many people wait for other people to come alongside them to make those moves, and you just have to get out there and do it. Learn how to read a map. Get
Hang
your
on, take notes. This is
Yeah.
good. She's got to
Yeah,
this out.
Get
She's-
your
that's right.
technology, okay? Learn about the different applications that are out there that have maps available to you. There's trackers that are available to you so that your family can feel comfortable about you riding if you do a lot of lone trips. But just start small. Do it overnight. Go meet your friends. Consistently getting out there will get you more comfortable. Do a class.
Yeah.
We've got accident scene management. We've got basic rider course. Clutch is one of my folks up north that we use for
Yeah.
education, basic rider course and advanced. And do those things. And
Yes.
the more you get involved with the community, you bounce ideas off of legends, and those that have went before us, you won't have a problem. Yeah, no fear.
I think you being out and you being out too and doing the group rides and different things, it's also, there's mentoring even though if you know you're mentoring.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right?
I have
And I think
tons,
that's
yeah.
super important too.
Absolutely.
One of the big powers of social media and the internet is being able to show people that they're capable of it
Yeah.
through your experience.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways to use the internet. That's, to me, the most effective. Check out the algorithm if you're sharing real education.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is going to trend.
Yeah.
And that's not just because of the way they designed it, but that is the empowerment that
Yeah.
you're accidentally or inadvertently sharing with
Yeah.
someone. Like, who started you wanting to ride? Like, who did you watch? Who did you see?
Oh,
Where did that
man.
come from, right?
It was a boy. It was a boy.
Yeah, they have kitties.
But my parents actually, they knew that, I was really getting into it. Started with CMA, I took the class, and then we used to like to do like little afternoon trips on a Saturday, go stop off at the car dealership, right? So I had on like just some pajamas. Okay, it's like 12 o'clock, we're getting ready to go over to Hardee's and get a burger, and I had my hair in like this big old puffball because I was straightening it out. And my dad pulled into this car dealership and boom, there's that Yamaha. So I go pop on it real quick, take a picture before the salesman comes out and tries to hassle us, and we go on and get our lunch. Well, 2 weeks later was my birthday, and my dad's like, there you go, happy birthday, And so he got me a motorcycle. And then that one I had for about 3 years, and I was on a trip in Santa Fe, and a rider actually cut me off, so it totaled the vehicle. So then my dad got me another motorcycle. He found it
That's a
at
good
the
dad.
Greeley Harley. He's like, here's two, go get one, right? And I think they almost pitied me because they saw how depressed I was after that first accident,
Well, yeah.
and they're like, our baby ain't got no damn money. We're gonna help her, so they helped me and got that second bike, and I went even further. So now, I'm up to, last year I did 31,000 miles. I've got 77,000 on my 21 Road King, and I have no plans to stop. I just got a new engine on it,
Go, go, go.
Servicing, get your service plans, find that mechanic, that everybody kind of is in their backyard, like what you're saying.
You'll have cookies while you wait.
Absolutely, milk and cookies, okay? And,
You have to do that
I
now.
know. There's going to be like a cookie somewhere on a shirt or something.
But protect your investment. Have the necessary benefits that you need to cover that. Scott's team can help, educate. Go back to your insurance company and say, hey, this is the value of my vehicle. I need us to raise that, and how you guys view my coverage. And just keep on going. So it was a stupid boy, but ultimately my parents. And here I am. CMA was there too. I've done a lot of functions with him. I love doing veterans rides, serving our veteran community. I'm just always out there. Please use me up. Love doing these things with Scott and O'Sullivan Law Firm.
Oh yeah, I love that. Who inspired you, Scott?
My mom.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's cool. Tell me about it.
She just was very much a community-focused person.
Yeah.
Very philanthropic. Whether it was Board of Education, Meals on Wheels, our Board of Rec, and all that kind of stuff. And I, very young age, was voluntold. Right, so as a kid, like
volunteering.
Yeah, exactly. And so probably as a little jerk at some points when I was young, getting voluntold, but it just became part of my life, and it is very much who I am as a result.
Moms are great.
Yeah, hands down, and hopefully passing that on to my boys.
Yeah.
They are raised in this environment, and raised in all the other foundations and everything else that I do in the world that is very philanthropic, very community driven, just trying to make a change. Because if we're not doing it, don't bitch about somebody else's job. You just gotta go do it.
Yep.
So as a community leader, community focused company, community focused band, if there's one thing that people that interact with you and your brand take away, what do you want that to be?
Well, I think part of it is almost what we hear right there, right?
Yeah.
Is that it is, we say it over and over again, but it's dumb. It is community, right? And for me, motorcycle law, personal injury, what I do on that side of things is really truly a vocation. I truly care. I love the counseling side of what I do. That brings me the most joy.
That's cool.
I love the legal side and the strategy and kicking people's asses.
Yeah.
And I do it with a grin on my face, and they hate me, but that's fine.
I like you.
I love that. But it's truly my real deal is just helping let people know it's going to be okay.
Who here at this table has been helped by Scott?
Well, and Scott's the guy that does the helping, right? So many guys in Scott's position in other businesses, they start the business and then they step back and they just reel in off everybody else doing that work. And this is Scott's passion. This isn't just Scott being an attorney. This is Scott loves people, Scott loves this industry, and Scott is here doing it. I think that's the biggest difference I see in what you do is that, like you said, you've got to do it. Be the change that you want to see in this world, because otherwise we just sit around and complain what's not there, and that doesn't help anybody, right?
Right.
And I think your attitude towards helping everybody and being that guy and not shying away from it, you're not here for the money, you're here for the passion, and that's why we love what you do. We love being part
That's
of
very
your team.
kind. You're right. Very kind.
Oh yeah, sorry. This episode where we just love on you a lot, buddy. You're just gonna have to suck it up.
As you can tell, I'm not a big fan of it, but it's I very much appreciate it.
I want to know everyone's unique connection to Rider Justice. How did you get in the fold, Rachel?
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, it was time to prep for who's going to help volunteer at some of these tents for Rider Justice, right? And my friend Amy, we call her Glitter here in Colorado,
That's right.
she had that connection with Sabine and said, hey, I've got a couple of ladies that could help you guys at the swap. So I get this email, and sure enough, it turned out to be a match made in heaven. I got to meet you.
That was 2 years ago, right?
It was 2 years ago.
So that was a part of the...
Yeah, right here at the Colorado Expo.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. We had a tent over in room 2, so hung out there, and then we've been here. So the last maybe 2.
So what started with that 10 by 10 assistance here at the Moto Expo?
Yep.
What's your involvement with Rider Justice now?
I follow them, I stalk them at all the rallies, and we go to bike nights and things like that and help support, get the word out. We try to increase that coverage, get email distributions going, and just supporting through education. Partner with Revzilla for some bike night education, Beers and Gears, Black Shirt Brewing, they do a bike night as well, and just trying to increase that community
And
support.
what's more important is like we already heard she has a day job, right? She just loves the motorcycle community, and that's really what matters.
It's really special, though.
Right? Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, and it's very nice of you to, just promo all those things.
I love
but,
it.
But it's more that it's genuine, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely a natural relationship.
Right,
from
yeah,
where I
right.
sit, like not just when we get to work together, but when we're not around each other and I see what you do like online and what you guys do online. I was like, yeah, this absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it really works. So.
And I don't like. You're a babe, but I don't hire booth babes.
Right.
I'm hiring people that are connected to the community that really actually give a shit.
Yeah.
And I think that shows, right?
Yeah,
That matters.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, so Cody, how did you get in the fold?
So I think we met in the Expo off years when the Expo wasn't being held. We were meeting up with Scott, the owner of the show.
Yeah, Schultz.
And he was doing, Scott Schultz, he was doing another show. It was a police benefit.
Fire
police
like,
benefit. I'm trying to remember what it was. But we set up a tent there, and I think I brought the 3D printer out to start showing people this technology and how we can use it in the motorcycle industry and bring that sort of what we used to do in aerospace to speed things up into motorcycles. Now your chops can get quicker and we can go deeper and more intricate. And as I was showing that off, met Scott, and it's funny because you do these events, you get involved, and at that point I had no clue that meeting Scott would turn into this amazing community thing that would happen between us.
Family.
They have sponsored our bike nights, bought food and drink for riders at our events. I have not made it yet to the accident riders course, but I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, for sure.
And as I've worked more, I've had friends that have ultimately gone down on their bikes, been able to call Scott and use their services. Amazing services.
Yeah.
You will never take care of yourself in an accident situation the way Scott will take care of you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. We don't have the knowledge of how to do it.
Well, especially like in those moments, like let's face it, adrenaline's kicking in. That's a stress, chemical all by itself. So to have a true clear head is kind of hard to do. So if you have someone you can call while you're still assessing the situation, it just allows you to really like handle your business that much better. Because I know I've had to call you before as things have happened, and 5 minutes later it's like, you didn't tell me anything I didn't already know. But like the way that it was shared, like I am going to handle the rest of this, no problem, and here we go. And then you follow up a couple days later. If you don't, he will call you. And be like, hi, you haven't told me how things went with that thing. Well, that's really cool. Well, the way that I got into it was through Sabine as well. We were riding on the Road King 2 up on the way to Four Corners Motorcycle Rally. And I was going to MC. And she was going to enjoy. And then gets a phone call on her Bluetooth and her helmet. I have no idea this is going on. I'm in front doing the business. Going, la, 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 motorcycles. And she gets this phone call. Hey, I hear you're coming to Four Corners and that you've done some event production. It's like, oh yeah, absolutely. It's like, well, we just had, a loss in our staffing. Love if you come help. And she did such an awesome job that I got to meet them as well. And before we actually left Durango, we were having a conversation about how to potentially work together. So it was like, it's really about those opportunities that show themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, and Sabine has completely...
She's actually the CEO of Rider Justice.
Basically, HBIC all day. But it's just kind of cool to find out like how we all get connected. And it is by happenstance, Like you happen to know someone who was connected and said, I'll do it. You happen to be at the right place doing something unique. He saw it, friendship started, business followed. And I got to piggyback off my girlfriend being really good at her job. And it's been a rad relationship. We do a lot of work together through like social media, whenever we get to be in the same room together. Like we don't really lose conversation anymore. And it's nice to always like stay in touch, be in touch. It's not just about work. Sure, I mean, like I like to get what I call math conversation out of the way as quick as possible. This is what it's gonna be. Okay, cool, great. So how are you?
Right.
Like, what's happening?
Exactly.
How's the wife? How the boys? What's on fire? Like,
Right, exactly.
it's really dope. Well, I know that we're all really grateful for being a part of this world. And
I'm grateful for you guys.
I want to know what Rider Justice has coming up in the future. You have You have grown. You have definitely continued to stake your claim, and not only to this area but to others. And with that kind of stuff comes newness. This is new.
Yeah, this is new.
So this
is
is
a great
part
addition.
of newness. Yeah.
Love this. The Vana Film Festival that we're a part of, and been touring around the
talk more about
country.
that.
So we'll hopefully have Derek and Andrew on later, but what that is Vana Motorcycle Magazine, the premier, like coffee table book level magazine. They are just a great also part of my community now, right? And a great partners and great friends. And they started this film festival, and it's all these short films, and it's all different stories being told. And whoever wins the film festival gets to try his motorcycle.
That's really
awesome.
cool.
I mean, it's really cool.
That's really
and I've been, lucky enough to partner with this event and travel around and just get to meet. I mean, last we were down in Scottsdale, and I got to meet somebody who flew in from Switzerland.
Oh, wow.
He's like, I love what you guys do. I get your magazine. I heard about this, and I want to ride around in Arizona, so here I am.
That's awesome.
It was really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what other big things are you doing?
We have all these accident management classes that we do. Four Corners Motorcycle Rally, International Women's Ride.
Yes.
And I think as we kind of grew in the last year or two doing some of these bigger events, refocusing again on really the small stuff again, I think is really important.
That's your core.
Kind of do bike nights, more just, community, smaller, one-offs. The Overland Expo stuff we do every year is still in, so we'll be in Flagstaff again, Colorado here in Denver. Doing a big thing, which is really cool, with the BMW MOA out in Oregon this June. I've been invited back to that, and I'll give talks. And we have Eva and Sterling will be joining us from the overlanding BMW ADV community. Just more great stuff. And for me, it's all what's interesting to me. It's not that's going to make me more people.
Right.
I have to want to be there.
Right. Right. It's like I have to show up, so I'm going to want to.
Because part of it is, I mean, in all sincerity, is I'm actually the guy that shows up.
Right.
Right. So I'm actually talking to people and meeting people, as opposed to booth babes.
Booth babes.
Yeah, and chapstick. Right? That's useless.
You do have great chapstick.
It is good chapstick. It's true.
It's lip balm, I was told.
Lip balm. Yeah, that's right.
Because I know the difference in that.
That's right.
So you are going to be at Sturgis for the first time this year?
We are in negotiations for their new race they're going to be doing downtown.
All right.
And that will be a new platform for us. Really pretty exciting. We'll kind of see where that goes. It'll be a return for us. We have had a presence there with Dirty Dogs in their spot in Sturgis. They've sold the bar, so this would be kind of us back in this really different way.
Yeah, very good.
Which is going to be, I think, really cool. Bringing racing back to downtown Sturgis is going to be really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Can I just say something that you touched on, and it's related to the social media aspect and how, seeing is believing, seeing something that inspires you. When we're looking at folks that we're inspired by on social media, it's not just about Harley, right? And I appreciate the diversity that Rider Justice is a part of, you as well. The chopper community, it's not just one facet. It's not even just two-wheelers, sometimes it's trike or electric or whatever, and there's something for everybody. And I really, really appreciate that and where you're going with your business and representing the different facets out there. That also brings education, teaches people about, I don't have to do a traditional cruiser. Maybe there's a cafe. Maybe there's the vintage side that people are interested in, the fabrication side, custom build side, or performance, like Sawicki. BMW as well. I mean, that just targets so many other riders and brings that to light, and other people get interested in it too. So I really, really appreciate that about this.
That is a cool faction of it too, because when we first get into this, most of us, I would say, don't know nothing about nothing.
Yeah, right.
But there's one thing. So if it's a Honda, then you're a Honda person. But then whenever you start to see what's going on with these brands that are more about motorcycles.
Sure, motorcycle
And
riding.
maybe Honda started it,
Yeah.
but you've got this window that's open that's not so
Yeah.
like, closed off to brand loyalty
Right.
to
Right.
people you don't know that made the motorcycle.
Right.
And it really allows for a lot more fun, like straight up.
Yeah,
Like,
try things out. You know?
try all of them.
Yeah.
When you go to rallies, the OEMs are there.
Yep.
Go beat the snot out of their motorcycles.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
will make more.
Scare
Yes.
yourself.
Yeah,
go
that is
go
a
out of
lot
your
of
comfort
fun.
zone.
And they want you to
Absolutely.
try them.
They
Yeah.
really do. Overlanding events are some of the best
Yeah.
places to do demos.
Yeah.
You've got the Euro bikes that are there, and they are an absolute blast to rip on those trails they have. And Team
Yeah.
Yamaha's there.
Yep.
I believe BMW
Triumph.
is also
Yep,
there.
Ducati's
Triumph,
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So
they're all
these
about
events are
safety.
about riding,
Yeah.
and if you stick your nose up at another brand just cause, then you're just saying no to another way to have a good time.
Right. Exactly.
So whatever you want to do, man. Like,
What,
hang out or not, I guess.
I don't like
fits
experiences
you?
at all.
No,
It
that's
might
why
not
I'm
be
here.
whatever fits you, you know. And so
Right.
for another lady rider who gets into this segment, you know, don't just talk about one thing. You know, for us, it's going to be about what we can sit on comfortably, what we can handle. You know, weight,
Motorcycles are tools.
Yeah,
Different motorcycles work differently at different
Very
stuff. My
yes.
dirt bike is not my touring bike.
Yeah.
Really?
You know, it's weird.
It's
That's
weird.
wild.
It's a weird one. Tires are a little different things,
Yeah.
but they
Corner
are
differently.
They do. They can unleash all these amazing experiences in our life, and each one does it a little different. And so, while you can go do certain rides on one bike, it
Yeah.
may be a whole different ride on another bike.
Absolutely.
And so, it's just
right.
like the multiplicity of what we have the opportunity to do is impressive. And I think you hit it. Some guys get stuck on a brand because maybe
Yeah.
that was the one they started with,
Yep.
or maybe somebody they respected said,
Yeah.
"Don't go to those guys," and they
Yeah.
never looked it up for themselves. And like you're saying, go ride their bikes.
Yep.
Worst thing that happens is you find out you like a bike that you thought you hated.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
and all of a sudden you're
Yeah.
having more fun and you meet more people, and
There you go.
it just multiplies.
It's about saying
Absolutely.
yes. I definitely have a mantra. Yes is how you live your life. No is how you protect yourself.
There you go.
So if you're looking at a situation and you're not sure what to do, and there's no reason to protect yourself, then say yes to it, because it's an experience that you can handle, and you'll never understand it until you go handle it.
Complete it. Yep.
So, I mean, and that's how you get a broadened horizon. That's what
Yeah.
leads to more travel, more
Yep.
diversity in your friendships and life
Yep.
experiences and all that. Yes is how you live your life. Say it. Say it all the time. But I'm uncomfortable. Say it loudly.
Yes.
If you're
Yes.
a little uncomfortable, use capital letters. Yes.
Right.
And if it's something that's like against your moral values, against your, your personal code or whatever it is that you live by, then say no to that.
Yeah.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
If it's not, say yes.
Take the risk.
Live.
Take the
Because
ride.
You never know until you actually know. And I don't know why I keep just hitting this table.
That's it. Dumptruck smash.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's real though. Like so many people don't say yes to something else because, well, I mean, that's not cool, bro.
Right.
It's like neither is being boring. So like, say yes, man.
I have a
Don't worry
code.
about it. Here,
Ride
guess what?
more,
No one's watching.
talk less.
Say
Wait,
again.
I want to hear that again. Yeah.
Ride more, talk less. That's
it.
my code.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
keep them turning. That's what it's all about in terms of Hot Wheels Rachel. Get out there. Go try something new. Try something that scares you. Just go a little bit further. Put some tools in your back pocket. You know, throw that into the memory bank and then get after it again. Go do something else.
Have an experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, everything's out there.
Yeah.
You'll never get it if you don't go.
Go.
Out
Don't wait on anybody.
Yeah,
Gotta
it's
do
not
it.
waiting for you.
Yeah.
That life is being lived.
Yep.
Someone's doing it.
All
It could
day,
be you,
every day.
or you could just like say no because it makes you uncomfortable.
Tomorrow's
Weird.
not promised, so you got to make
right.
the best of it
So much
today.
truth to
Take
that.
a risk, you know.
Yeah.
You'll surprise yourself.
I feel like we're like kind of coming to a close.
That's a
of the
perfect
episode
landing
with, like-
plane thing right
with like
there.
the million different words of wisdom.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And this
yeah.
has been really, really awesome. I don't know if we're wrapping early, but I feel like we're at a good spot.
Yeah, this feels good. So tell everybody how they find you again. Look into that camera there.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. You can find me under Hot Wheels Rachel.
Awesome.
Right on. Mostly on Instagram. Also, I copy those things onto Facebook, but mostly on Instagram and on the interwebs, Kiebler Kustoms with a K. I do have KieblerKustoms.com that is purchased but not up and running. That'll be up and running this year.
Exciting.
You can always email me, DM me on Instagram or email me if you guys want to get involved with some welding classes, if you guys want to get introduced to motorcycles, if you just have some questions about what bike's good for me, how should I start, hit me up, man. I love giving you guys this information. I'll tell you what I did. It may or may not be the best information for you, but it'll be what worked for me, and then you can pick it apart and have your
Absolutely.
experience, which is ultimately what this is about.
Man, we chose some good people to talk to
It's
today.
been
Yeah.
fun, Thank
This
you.
has been great. Hey, y'all, thanks for checking us out again. This is another episode of Chasing the Ride podcast. My name's Dumptruck, and this is Scott O'Sullivan with Rider Justice, and we will see you next time when we have too much to say.